Today, we are going deep into Tolkien's Silmarillion.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
It could be, a little dense.
A little bit, yeah.
So we're hoping to extract some of those golden nuggets.
Yeah.
From this illustrated edition you've provided some excerpts from and kind of guide people through because it's like this epic creation myth, right?
It really is.
So let's just start at the very beginning.
Okay.
The Silmarillion opens with what's called the Enulindale, which is basically the creation myth.
The creation story.
The creation story of this world.
Yeah.
What makes this creation story so unique?
Well, what's really fascinating is that Tolkien envisions the world as literally being sung into existence.
Oh, wow.
It's called the music of the Ainur. And the Ainur are these angelic beings who each contribute their own melodies and harmonies to this grand symphony.
Sung into being.
Yes.
That's so different from the usual, let there be light.
Yeah, it's very different.
I could almost hear, echoes of those ancient creation myths.
Right.
Where it's all about sound and vibration,
Exactly.
Bringing things into being.
Yeah, and it's really cool how he kind of, I guess, in a way you could say almost personifies or gives these beings a way to express themselves through music.
And then presiding over all of this is a Iluvatar.
Yes.
Which you can kind of think of as the god figure, right?
Yeah, the supreme being, the ultimate composer.
He's setting the themes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, he gives the Ainur freedom to improvise.
Right.
And add their own expressions to the music.
Yeah, that's the really cool thing.
So there's this free will woven into this right from the start.
Absolutely. And that's where things get really interesting because that's where we get our story.
Right, because if everything was just
preordained,
yeah, there would be no story.
No, exactly.
So among the Ainur, the most powerful are the Valar.
Right.
And these are the ones that actually come down and shape the world.
These are the big players.
The big players.
The ones who take those themes and really get to work with them.
You've got Manwë,
king of the Valar.
The king, whose domain is the sky and the winds.
Right. He's the top dog.
Then you've got Ulmo.
Ulmo, Lord of the Waters.
Who controls the seas.
The seas and the oceans, yes.
And actually, it's interesting.
He kind of does his own thing.
He does his own thing a lot.
Yeah, he helps people when he feels it's necessary, even if the other Valar don't agree.
And then there's Oli.
Oli, the smith.
Who is responsible for, crafting the mountains.
Yeah, all the things that are made of earth and stone, he's the one who made them.
But importantly, the dwarves.
Oh, yes, he's the one who created the dwarves.
Which will play a major part later on.
Very important.
It's he's creating this pantheon of powerful beings.
Yeah, it's like a big family of gods, each with their own specialty.
Each with their own, personalities.
Exactly. They're not just these abstract forces. They have quirks and flaws and relationships.
And they establish their home in Valinor.
Right, in the uttermost west.
Which is paradise.
It's paradise. It's where the Valar live.
And to illuminate this paradise, they create these two magnificent trees.
The two trees of Valinor.
Pelperion and Laurelin.
Yes, those are their names.
That's amazing.
Imagine a world lit by these two giant glowing trees instead of the sun and the moon.
It's kind of like the sun and moon of their world.
In a way, yeah.
So now let's talk about the elves.
Okay.
Because they are the first children of Iluvatar to awaken.
Right. They wake up beside this beautiful lake called Cuiviénen.
Beside a lake, very peaceful.
It's a beautiful scene.
But I'm guessing it doesn't last forever.
Well, you know how it is. Things change.
Right.
One of the Valar, Orome the Hunter, he discovers the elves.
Okay.
And he's amazed by them. He's like, whoa, there are these new beings here.
Ryobi too.
Yeah. And so he brings news back to Valinor.
Okay.
And the Valar are like, well, we should invite them to come live with us in the West.
Right, because they're the benevolent.
Yeah, they want to protect them and share their paradise with them.
So that's how the Great Journey begins.
The Great Journey of the Elves, yeah.
This mass migration across Middle-earth.
Across mountains and forests and plains, all the way to the sea.
Wow, and not all of them go.
No, some of them choose to stay in Middle-earth.
Like the Sindar.
The Sindar, or Grey Elves, yeah.
Even at this early stage, you're seeing this
idea of choice.
This idea of choice.
Right, they have free will.
The different paths they can take.
Yeah, and it's important because it sets up a lot of the conflicts that come later.
So for our deep dive, the most important group is the Noldor.
The Noldor, yes.
Known for their skill and their craftsmanship.
And their thirst for knowledge. They're always wanting to learn new things.
Led by King Finwë.
King Finwë, the High King of the Noldor.
And his fate is going to become intertwined with that of his son, Fëanor.
Oh, yes, Fëanor.
Right.
A very important, but also very complex character.
Now, before we go there, we should probably mention Thingol.
Oh, yes.
Who is,
He's a leader of the Teleri elves.
The Teleri?
Yeah, they're the ones who love the sea.
And he gets separated from his people.
During the Great Journey, he gets lost in the forest.
And he meets Melian.
Melian the Maya.
Okay, now hold on.
You need a refresher on the Mayor.
Remind me what a Maya is.
Okay, so the Mayor are kind of like the lesser Ainur.
Okay.
They're still very powerful, but they have more specific tasks.
Okay.
And they often act as like intermediaries between the Valar and the children of Iluvatar.
Okay, got it.
So Melian is a Maya.
And they fall in love.
Yeah, they fall deeply in love.
That's beautiful.
It is, and they create this magical realm called Doriath.
Doriath, okay.
It's a hidden kingdom protected by Melian's magic.
Wow.
But for now, let's go back to Fëanor.
Okay.
Because he's the one who really sets the stage for everything that's going to happen.
And that has to do with the Silmarils.
The Silmarils, yes.
These 3 radiant jewels.
They capture the very essence of the 2 trees' light. They're the most beautiful things ever created in the world.
But their beauty attracts the attention of Melkor.
Melkor, the original Dark Lord.
Yeah, he's the big bad.
He's the one who rebels against Iluvatar and wants to control everything.
It's interesting how, even though he's the embodiment of evil,
right,
he is a catalyst for change.
He is. If he hadn't rebelled, things might have stayed the same forever.
Right.
No story without conflict.
Yeah, no story without conflict.
So Melkor, he's obsessed with the Silmarils.
Of course.
He wants them for himself.
Yeah.
And he's willing to destroy anything to get them.
And that's what he does, right?
He does with the help of this monstrous spider named Ungoliant.
Oh, I forgot about her.
She's pretty scary.
Yeah, she's huge.
Yeah, and she helps him destroy the 2 trees and steal the Silmarils.
See, so the light of Valinor is extinguished.
And the world is plunged into darkness.
So it feels like we're just on the precipice of something major.
Oh, we are just getting started.
And I'm guessing it has to do with Fëanor.
It does. Fëanor is heartbroken and furious.
Rightfully so.
And he makes a decision that will have consequences for everyone.
Ooh, okay.
And we'll get to that in part 2.
All right, stay tuned for part 2.
So that oath Fëanor swore
Wow.
to reclaim the Silmarils.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a vow.
Okay.
It was like this curse that bound the Noldor
Right.
to this path of vengeance and sorrow.
It's like they traded paradise
Yeah.
for this self-inflicted exile.
In a way, yeah.
Driven by this need to reclaim what was lost.
And that focus, that single-mindedness,
Yeah.
it blinded them.
Yeah.
And that led them to do things that they would later regret.
Like the kinslaying at Alqualande.
Exactly. That's the perfect example.
They needed ships.
Right. They needed ships to get to Middle-earth.
And the Teleriels.
The Teleri, they were the seafarers.
But had them.
They had the ships.
Yeah, but they refused to just hand them over.
Well, I mean, can you blame them?
Right.
These were their kin, asking for their most prized possessions.
And this is where you see that oath's corrupting influence.
Right.
Because instead of seeking a peaceful resolution,
Yeah.
Fëanor, consumed by this oath, chooses violence.
He does, and it's a horrific massacre.
The kinslaying is so pivotal
It really is.
because it shows how even the most noble of the elves,
Yeah.
renowned for their wisdom and grace,
Right.
can be driven to do these horrific acts.
It's a reminder that even good intentions
Yeah.
can be twisted by
Yeah.
obsession and grief,
Yeah.
leading to terrible, terrible consequences.
And they suffer the consequences, right?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Mando's the doomsman of the Valar.
The one who pronounces judgment,
He pronounces a curse upon them.
a curse of sorrow and strife in Middle-earth.
So they leave paradise.
Right.
They commit this terrible sin.
Yeah.
And they're cursed to suffer for their actions.
It's like a Greek tragedy playing out
Almost, yeah.
on an epic scale.
But they press on.
They do.
They arrive in Middle-earth,
Yeah.
bearing this heavy burden.
Yeah, they've got a lot on their shoulders.
What happens next?
Well, they establish various realms in Beleriand,
Okay.
which basically becomes the battleground for this long war against Morgoth.
And the illustrated edition
Oh.
really brings this to life with those maps.
The maps are great.
You can see how Beleriand was this vast,
It's huge,
Yes.
beautiful land.
forests, mountains, rivers, the whole works.
You really get a sense of what's at stake.
Yeah, what they're fighting to protect.
So they establish strongholds like Hithlum,
In the north,
ruled by Fingolfin.
Fëanor's half-brother.
Okay.
He's a pretty important character.
Margathron,
Yeah, this hidden fortress.
carved into the side of a gorge.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Ruled by Finrod Felagund.
Known for his wisdom and compassion.
And then there's Gondolin,
Ah, Gondolin.
the legendary hidden city.
The shining beacon of hope.
I always imagine it as this
Wow.
like a shining beacon.
It was, nestled in a hidden valley.
Yeah.
ruled by Turgon.
Another son of Finwë.
Yeah. Gondolin remained untouched by Morgoth's shadow for centuries.
For a long time, yeah.
With all these realms
Right.
and all these powerful elf lords,
Yeah.
you'd think they'd have an advantage.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
In this war against Morgoth.
But Morgoth is a tough opponent.
He is.
He's had centuries to corrupt Middle-earth.
Right.
He's got armies of orcs, trolls.
Don't forget those Balrogs.
Oh, yeah, the Balrogs.
Those terrifying demons of fire.
Fire and shadow, yeah.
They always sent shivers down my spine.
They're pretty scary, I'll give you that.
So they find themselves locked in this long and grueling war.
Yeah, it's not an easy fight.
And it's during this age
Right.
that we get some of those iconic tales.
Oh, yeah, some great stories.
Like the story of Beren and Luthien.
The classic love story.
Tolkien himself held this story very close.
He did. It was very personal to him.
And he even wove elements of it into his own relationship with his wife.
With Edith, yeah.
Beren was a human hero.
A mortal maid.
Luthien,
the daughter of Thingol and Melian.
An elf princess.
Yeah.
It's like this forbidden love story.
A classic trope.
Set against this epic war.
Yeah, it's a great story.
And their love is put to the ultimate test.
Oh, it is.
When Thingol, determined to protect his daughter, sets Beren an impossible task.
An impossible task?
To retrieve a Silmaril.
Oh, wow.
From Morgoth's crown.
That's a suicide mission. Steal from the Dark Lord himself.
What makes their story so compelling?
Well, it's not just a romantic side plot.
Okay.
It has profound implications for the fate of Middle-earth.
Okay.
Their actions help to weaken Morgoth.
Okay.
Paving the way for his eventual defeat.
So it's more than just a love story.
It's about courage, sacrifice.
And hope.
Yeah, even in the darkest of times.
Yeah, their story offers this glimmer of hope.
A little bit of light in the darkness.
Amidst the darkness.
Exactly.
But not all the tales from this era are so uplifting.
No, unfortunately not.
We also have the tragic figure of Turin Turambar.
Oh, Turin.
His story always struck me as particularly heartbreaking.
It's a tough one.
He's a human hero.
Son of Hurin.
A great warrior who is captured and cursed by Morgoth.
Right, and that curse follows Turin everywhere he goes.
It's like every action he takes brings ruin upon himself and those around him.
And like he's doomed from the start.
Despite his noble intentions.
Yeah, his strength.
He can't escape this shadow.
It's a shadow of Morgoth's curse,
It's an exploration of free will versus destiny.
That's a big theme in Tolkien's work.
Definitely.
The idea that we have choices.
But sometimes fate has other plans.
Exactly.
So we have these tales of love, sacrifice,
Yeah.
tragic doom.
It's all there.
Playing out against this backdrop of this ongoing war.
A war that seems like it will never end.
How does it end?
Well, the tide begins to turn.
Okay.
With the birth of Arundel.
Okay.
The half-elf.
Half-elf.
Yeah, he's descended from both men and elves. He inherits the best qualities of both kindreds.
He's like this bridge.
He is, between the two races.
He becomes this skilled mariner.
A great sailor.
Sailing the seas of Middle-earth.
In his enchanted ship, Vingela.
Right, Vingela.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ship.
And it carries one of the Silmarils.
Recovered by Beren and Luthien.
Which shines like a star.
It does, guiding Arundel on his journeys.
And he sees the suffering.
He sees it all.
Of both elves and men.
The devastation caused by the war.
And he decides to seek the help of the Valar.
He does. He sails west to Valinor.
A perilous journey.
Oh, incredibly dangerous.
It's almost like this.
A desperate last-ditch effort.
Yeah.
To seek intervention.
And after a perilous voyage.
Yeah.
Guided by the light of the Silmaril.
That Silmaril is key.
He reaches the shores of Aman.
He does.
And his arrival marks a turning point.
A major turning point.
In the war against Morgoth.
Things are about to change.
He pleads with the Valar.
He begs for their help.
To intervene.
To save the children of Iluvatar.
And this leads to...
the War of Wrath.
The final and most cataclysmic battle of the First Age.
The big one?
The Valar unleash their full might.
They're not holding back.
Against Morgoth.
They're gonna end this once and for all.
Shattering his armies.
Breaking his power forever.
But victory comes at a great cost.
It does.
Beleriand.
The land where so much of this story has taken place
is shattered,
broken and sunk beneath the waves.
It's gone.
Gone forever.
Only a few remnants of the Noldor escape.
Led by Arendel's son, Elrond.
Elrond, who's going to play a big part.
A huge part.
In the later ages of Middle-earth.
Yeah, he's a major player.
But for now, the First Age has come to an end.
A dramatic end.
Reshaping both the world
and the fate of its inhabitants.
So Morgoth is gone. Beleriand is no more.
Yeah, it's a whole new world now.
What becomes of the survivors?
Well, the Edain, the men who fought alongside the elves,
Right.
the Valar, they saw their courage in their sacrifice.
Yeah.
So they offered them a new home, the island kingdom of Numenor.
Numenor.
Yeah.
It's a name that echoes with both grandeur and tragedy.
It does, doesn't it?
I can already sense a story of like rise and fall
You're right on the money there.
Ambition, hubris.
All those good things.
Yeah.
The Numenorians, or the Dundain as they're called,
Okay.
they were blessed with these long lifespans.
Okay.
A gift from the Valar for their loyalty.
But that long lifespan,
Yeah.
it's almost like a double-edged sword, right?
It is. It's a blessing and a curse.
Because it could lead to all sorts of unforeseen consequences.
Exactly.
Does it warp their perspective? Do they become afraid of death?
In a way, yeah, they start to envy the elves.
Right.
Their immortality, their timeless existence.
In this envy,
Yeah.
coupled with their growing pride and isolation,
Right.
it makes them vulnerable.
To the whispers of darkness.
And that's where Sauron comes in.
Sauron. Morgoth's lieutenant.
The master manipulator.
Yeah.
He returns in a new guise.
Right.
Subtly influencing the Numenorians, playing on their fears and desires.
Exactly. He encourages their pride, their sense of exceptionalism.
And he slowly turns them against the Valar.
Yeah, he's a master of deception.
So the seeds of their downfall are sown from within.
On their own heart.
This desire to defy the natural order of things, to grasp for immortality.
That's their downfall.
Leads to their ruin.
It's a cautionary tale.
Definitely.
It reminds us of the dangers of ambition and the seductive nature of power.
They abandon their friendship with the elves.
Yeah.
They turn away from the Valar.
And eventually, they even try to invade Valinor.
Wow, trying to seize immortality by force.
Well, bold move.
Yeah.
But not a wise one.
What happens?
Well, let's just say it doesn't go well.
Right.
The Valar, they appeal to Ilúvatar, and he reshapes the world, sinking Numenor beneath the waves.
It's like this divine judgment.
It is. They tried to defy fate,
Yeah.
and they paid the ultimate price.
But there are survivors.
There are a few faithful Numenorians who escape.
Led by Elendil and his sons.
Isildur and Anarion.
Yes. Those names should sound familiar.
Yeah.
They sail east to Middle-earth.
And they establish the kingdoms of Gondor and Arnor.
Exactly. The kingdoms we know and love from The Lord of the Rings.
I'm starting to see how all these threads weave together.
It's all connected.
Connecting the first age to the later ages.
The Silmarillion sets the stage for everything that comes after.
It's like we've been given this glimpse into the grand tapestry of history.
With all its intricate patterns and connections.
What I find fascinating are the recurring themes. Like free will and fate, consequences of oaths and pride.
The corrupting power of evil.
Yeah.
But also the enduring power of hope and love.
It's what makes Tolkien's stories so enduring and thought-provoking.
Absolutely.
I think anyone listening to this should go back and revisit the Silmarillion.
It's worth multiple reads.
Each time revealing something new.
You'll always find something new in there.
Wow, what a journey.
It has been, hasn't it? From the creation of the world to the downfall of Numenor.
Eons of history, epic battles, powerful themes.
It's amazing.
It's a testament to Tolkien's imagination.
Absolutely.
His ability to create a world that feels both ancient and timeless.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Silmarillion.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've gained a new appreciation for this foundational work.
And all the stories it contains.
The intricate web of stories that form the heart of Tolkien's legendarium.
It's a rich and complex world.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep discovering the hidden depths of Middle-earth.
That's right. See you next time. All right, so